Welcome to episode number 7 of the Triple Crown Conversations podcast. My name's Tyler Pumphrey, and I'm here with Hayden Hall and Austin Cardish, like usual, just the three of us. We're in a
undisclosed fishing spot.
So we were at the lake last week. Now we're at a creek. We might be at an ocean next week. Who knows? But y'all got any? What have y'all been up to here recently, Muffin, Austin? Anything interesting?
No, just working and chilling, honestly.
That's the same.
Me and Muffin were in a 3v3 basketball tournament last Saturday. I think we all were telling you about that. And we made it to the semifinals. We played 6 games. It was double elimination. Then we got beat.
Those were some tough third graders.
Yeah, they were some pretty tough elementary schoolers. No, but yeah, we made it to the semifinals of that tournament. So
did a lot better than we thought.
Yeah, there was 5 of us.
A bunch of old high school baseball players that don't play basketball anymore.
We're retired now, so we golf now.
There we go.
But yeah, we did pretty well in that.
Tyler did go golfing the other day. What'd you shoot?
Not very good. When I go golfing, I mainly goof around with the golf carts, mainly what I do. But
I'll get you on them drones. You ever see the videos of the drones?
Yeah. My golf game isn't the best. Muffin's a lot better than I am. But
I'm all right. I'm not good, but.
So yeah, we'll lead off with I think the biggest topic right now is NFL free agency. It started. When did it start? Monday?
Yeah, Monday was the legal tampering period, which coaches and GMs and stuff can't talk to the player themselves, but they can talk to their agent, agree to deals, and then Wednesday they can sign deals. So
that started Monday, and there's been a lot of interesting signings, including Russell Wilson signs with the Steelers. Austin's team might have a new quarterback. QB1.
Oh, it's no might. They will.
Well, it's a competition. My boy Kenny still got a shot, but I'm kind of iffy about it because I don't think Russ is all that, but we'll see. And he won't have to do much. But we get rid of Deontay Johnson in a good trade, which I think is because we need a corner. And Dante Jackson's quick and won't have to do too much on the defense. But at the same time, it does give Kenny an extra year to develop under a quarterback if he doesn't win the job, which is what I like. And I want to see him do good under Arthur Smith, which is more than likely going to happen, in my opinion. So it's all right. I'm not too shabby about it, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I think you all got a better offensive coordinator this year, so hopefully.
It's not hard to do.
Yeah, they fired him mid-season
I think Matt Canada, who is bald, had more hair on his head than he had different style play calls. He had like 3 play calls that he loved.
AFC North's been making a lot of moves.
Yeah.
The whole AFC North, I mean, Derrick Henry signed with the Ravens?
Derrick Henry to the Ravens. Bengals got better.
The Bengals got Zach Moss, Mike Gesicki, and Geno Stone, and then yesterday they signed Sheldon Rankings. You all got Jerry Jeudy in a trade, which I've been saying that Cleveland's needed a second wide receiver behind Cooper, and they go out and get an elite route runner. So that was solid. Ravens signed Henry, and that's about it. I don't think it's going to be all that's hyped up to be. I think he's too old right now. I'm saying like 700 yards, maybe 8 touchdowns, if that. But then we go out and sign their linebacker, Patrick Queen, which I love.
That was a good sign.
Only 24, 3-year deal, $41 million. Helps out that defense a lot because our linebackers got hurt all last season. So I love that. And we signed Bill Burr as a punter, which is kind of weird, but
punter.
Yeah, he looks dead on Bill Burr, but he's a solid punter from Australia. Played for the Texans last year, and he's a sniper with it. So I'm excited about these moves so far.
Well, I thought the Browns were going to re-sign Flacco, but once again they're going for the all-black QB room. And I'm not just saying that; that's how it's been the past few years. So they picked up Jameis Winston, and they got DTR at 3rd string. So they're running with the all-black. Is he going to give one of his speeches dumb?
I guess since Johnny Manziel, they decided to go with a different
That's how it's been.
Quarterback.
I mean, ever since Johnny Manziel, we've had all black QBs, so I don't understand. Go Baker Mayfield, I will say.
Yeah, that's true, Baker. But yeah, AFC North is making a push. Maybe it's best division in football next year. So that's gonna be really...
listen here.
It's always been
the best division in football. The black and blue, you know, they're gonna punch you in your face and come out and probably punch you in the face again. And
listen to Dan Campbell over here.
They're staying competitive all the time, and it's one of the hardest divisions. You go to a game, you can have like, what was it? The Browns like one year finished like 2-14 and still had a great shot to beat each team twice. That's just how AFC North football is, and it brings great games to watch. So,
which there's been a lot of moves. This not just our teams. I mean, Kirk Cousins. You got trying to think, Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, all of them. There's been all kinds of signings. It's crazy right now. It usually don't happen all in the first week, but this time it's like everyone's just decided to go the first week they could.
Yeah, and this is just the first tier. Like, there's going to be a second tier of free agents out there. I'm wanting Justin Simmons as a safety. I think that'll solidify our free agency class, but we'll have to wait and see how we do that. I don't know if we like KZ as a starter, but I'd personally love Justin Simmons. But yeah.
Tyler, how about the boys?
I
don't think they've made a single move.
You got one move.
No, yeah, we've done barely anything. Like usual in Cowboys free agency, we signed Eric Kendricks, a linebacker from the Chargers, who actually agreed to go to the 49ers, I think 2 nights ago. And all of a sudden, I guess Jerry Jones called him up and was like, hey, we need you on the Cowboys. So, which he reunites with Mike Zimmer, who was his head coach with Minnesota. So I think that's a pretty good signing because our linebackers were horrible last year. When we need, I mean, I've got my notes down here. We really need another running back too. We lost Tony Pollard to the Titans, yeah. And I think we need. We've been linked to A.J. Dillon, running back for the Packers. I think if we get him and maybe draft a running back like Jonathan Brooks from Texas and maybe the second round or something, I think that would fix a lot of our running back problems. But it's been very disappointing so far, only signing one linebacker.
What, you don't trust Deuce Vaughn?
No. He's like maybe 5'5".
I honestly wouldn't mind seeing them take a flyer on J.K. Dobbins, you know, coming back-to-back season with ACL injuries. And you know he's going to be cheaper and he's wanting a prove-it deal. So I'd sign him to a one-year deal. And what, worst-case scenario, you cut him, but you still draft a running back. So we'll see about that. But, yeah, I think Dobbins would be a solid, low-risk, high-reward type of player.
Well, everyone in our division signing all the running backs. Eagles got Saquon somehow.
I've seen that.
Like I was telling Muffin Austin, I have no idea how in the world the Eagles have
How much
the
was
money.
it? Like 80?
It was a lot. It was a
it
lot
80?
of money for Saquon. Like they're paying Jalen Hurts the highest paid player in the NFL. I don't understand how they have enough money for.
They had the highest paid
Saquon.
guard too. They
Yeah.
I think it was
Lane
Lane Johnson, was it?
No,
It
it's
was
Landon
Landon
Dickerson.
Dickerson,
Oh,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Got the highest paid lineman, and I think he's going to maybe rotate the center where Jason Kelsey left.
Now they're saying that some dude named Juergens, who they say they don't like, he's going to slide in the center and let Dickerson stay at guard. But, yeah, Barkley to the Eagles is kind of wild. And, you know, all these players are switching teams, but it's in their division, which you didn't see a lot of growing up because nobody wanted to go there and do that. But it's like now that the teams aren't being loyal to the players aren't being loyal to the teams, and they're switching up. Like Barkley to the Giants, everybody was happy to get him out of the division, only for him to sign back with the division. And
Austin Eckler going from the Chargers to the Commanders.
yeah.
I was telling Austin earlier that the Commanders are just signing all the former Cowboys players with Dan Quinn as their head coach. Now they've signed like 5 former Cowboys players in free agency. So I mean, everyone in the division's making moves, and the Cowboys are kind of just sitting back on their feet like they always do. So really, you can't expect any more than a first-round loss in the playoffs again when you're not doing anything else.
The only thing though is like you need running back and you need like some O-line help. But I'm thinking they're sitting back waiting on a move to try and re-sign their tackle Smith. I think they're trying to work everything out, but honestly, you got a pretty stacked roster as it is. I mean, sure you need pieces, but I mean, if you were to run it back with this team plus whatever you get in the draft, I think you'd still have a shot to win a division. And honestly, Eckler can't be slept on with Washington. He's he's produced touchdowns after touchdowns the last few years, and I was surprised the Chargers let him walk. But then they go and get Gus Edwards, which I'm not too big on. Like, sure, he can look good in the Ravens system, but the Chargers with Harbaugh, I don't know. I was thinking they would let him go and then go get Blake Corum from Michigan, where Harbaugh came from. But, yeah.
Yeah, we also need another center because our center left to go to Washington.
Everybody.
Yeah. So really, I mean, we've got a lot of pieces that we need to fill, especially mainly in the draft. I mean, we don't have a very good draft pick, but we got a lot of positional needs that we need to fill. So moving we're going to keep it with the NFL. Talking about the Bengals again. T. Higgins requested a trade.
Yeah, they locked him, didn't they? And then now he's requesting trade. So
yeah. What do you think about that, Austin? Who do you think would be a good suitor for him?
It's hard to tell right now. Honestly, like when you make trades with players like this, you don't want them to be in the same conference as you. So I see him going NFC, but I don't know. Maybe the Bears to pair up with Moore if they don't go Marvin Harrison, which it doesn't look like they will. Honestly, teams are.
I'll look for maybe the Panthers. They don't have any receivers.
Well, they just Deontay.
Signed Deontay, for the trade.
Yeah, but I don't know. There was a rumor out there that the Patriots were coming for him. And they had rumored to go after Calvin Ridley, who signed with the Titans. So I could see them making a move. But honestly, I don't like conference trades. And
they're losing Boyd, too.
Yeah, Boyd's shown mutual interest with us. So it'd be interesting to see if we go after him.
I did see something, though.
Needing a receiver.
With that the Bengals were trying to trade for Jefferson.
Yeah.
And they got declined pretty quick, but they said they'd be open to trading Joe Burrow for him. So
yeah.
What, really?
Yeah.
Well, the Bengals
I showed it to
the Vikings would trade Justin Jefferson for Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Which obviously the Bengals aren't going to do, but
what was it? The Bengals sent a trade over to the Minnesota Vikings, 2 first-rounders and T. Higgins for Justin Jefferson.
Which is disrespectful, in my opinion. Like, 2 firsts are solid, and T. Higgins is solid, but what's he going to be next year? Is he going to be T. Higgins when he was healthy and they went to the Super Bowl? Is he going to be T. Higgins from last year where he's kind of hurt and just played a okay role? So it's wait and see, but I don't see how they fit it with their cap, and then going forward, you're going to obviously have to lose multiple people throughout free agency and all that to stay competitive.
Which they have lost Joe Mixon.
I didn't like that. I didn't like swapping Mixon for Moss. I thought Mixon knew the system. You know, he could have retired a Bengal, honestly. Moss is quicker and younger, but I still think Mixon has some tread on his tires. And I think it's Chase Brown. It's a 1-2 punch, so he's not going to have to carry the whole load. But I would have kept him, and then they say T. Higgins and his agent said that the Bengals hadn't offered a contract since like March of last year, which is pretty crazy considering all this has been, leading up to it. But I think you have to get rid of him. I don't think you can afford to go for Justin Jefferson and risk the future, because it would be like, okay, you're trying to be like the Rams when they beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl. They went in on Matthew Stafford and all of them, but I don't see it happening. I wouldn't do it personally. I'd go out and draft a receiver or whatever, and yeah. So what do y'all think about it?
I mean, I think the Bengals are going to be the Bengals. I never have seen the Bengals do too much personally. I mean, they got the one thing last year, but honestly, if they got Jefferson, I think they'd obviously make a championship run, seeing that what happened before in college. But then again, how are they going to afford him? They wouldn't have nothing else besides 2 receivers and a quarterback.
Yeah.
So you're looking at no defense, no line really, no running backs. You're just looking at more of a offensive game. So
and then they've all battled injuries the last 2 seasons, so it's like you're gonna have the risk of injuries on top of the fact that Justin Jefferson and Chase have to be paid. It's like, if you can't afford Higgins, what makes you think you're gonna afford Justin Jefferson? It's just a fantasy, and that's what ruins teams.
Yeah, the Bengals. T. Higgins is a solid wide receiver too. He's probably a upper tier wide receiver too, but he's not a wide receiver one in my opinion. But by him requesting a trade, they're not going to get as much for him as if they would have traded him last year.
Yeah.
See, I said it. They should have traded him 2 years ago when they had the most value.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you obviously know you're not going to be able to afford him, so why not get the most value now? And then they could have went and got someone, say Jackson Smith and Jigbo or Tank Dell, who I was high on. So you just gotta risk it, man. Just keep a competitive team coming in and out of the city. So.
Yeah. So if y'all don't have anything else on NFL free agency, we'll move on.
Just a lot of stuff going on right now in the NFL. So
a lot of
too
moving
much
pieces.
to talk about. I think even the Dan Campbell re-signed.
Yeah.
I know
Ben's
Ben
gonna
will
hate
like that.
We can do a whole episode on NFL free agency this week.
Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
But
I think we could do 3 episodes.
But we'll move on. Kentucky basketball again beats Tennessee at number 4 Tennessee. They beat them 85-81. I didn't get to watch a whole lot of it because mine and Muffin's tournament, but it seemed like that was a really good win at number 4 Tennessee. Reed Shepherd played amazing. I seen in the mock draft this week where he's projected to number one. A guy from London, Kentucky, going number 1 in the 2024 NBA draft would be crazy. North Laurel High School, number 1 pick. That would be awesome. But yeah, Kentucky with a big win. Now with that win, they're now the number 2 seed in the SEC tournament, which started yesterday actually, and we'll get to our predictions here soon for that tournament. But that was a big win for seeding in the SEC tournament and seeding for the NCAA tournament. You start out the day as a 4 seed, and with that win, you're now a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. If you win the SEC tournament, could move up to a 2 seed. So, any thoughts on that game?
I was. Funny thing is, me and Tyler was playing, and Tyler, when he was on the bench, was over there loading it up on his phone, watching it. Him and another guy, and I didn't get to watch none of it really. So, other than that, though, it's a big win for Kentucky. We struggle against Tennessee every year, especially at their place, going in there and beating them, especially with their crowd and everything. I was surprised they won, honestly. All of our friends were betting against them, and I actually told them bet Kentucky, but well, usually the bets don't work out for me, so. But this time it did, so I thought it was a really big win for Kentucky, and I think Reed, what do you have, like 30-something points?
I think he had 27.
27 on the verge, yeah. I think he'd be a really good point guard. He's a true point guard, passes, knows how to score. I think he'd be a good pickup, but not at 1 for sure.
Yeah.
I think there's too many better players that you could take at 1, which Reed's good, but I seen a thing where he might stay back. There's a small chance that he might stay back, but
the thing is, if you're the number 1 pick, you can't stay back. Now, maybe if you're a top 10 pick, probably not. But if you're outside the top 10 and a guy from Kentucky like this, and he's making $1 million in NIL money right now, so really money, and his parents are pretty rich too. So really, money is not a problem for him. If he's not the number 1 pick, and if he wants to come back to Kentucky, it's basically whether he, from the love of Kentucky, and it's not for the money purposes that he would go to the draft. So he actually could come back, really. But as number 1 pick, you can't, because you can't do it any better than number 1 pick.
I'd like to see him come back 1 more year just because. But there's always that chance he could get hurt.
Yeah.
Fall later, too, in the draft. So, it's really on him. It's up to him at the end of the season. So we'll see what he does. But hopefully he stays. But I'd like to watch him in the NBA, too. So
how about this? Kentucky has 2 guys in that mock draft. Reed was number 1. Rob was number 3. Both of them coming off the bench.
That'd be nice.
Neither of them start.
Yeah,
number 1 and 3
start.
pick.
That's what's crazy.
See, it's back to what I've been preaching all season. Reed's the man at UK. But honestly, if he's gonna go, I'd like to see him go like 12 or 13, somewhere in that range, where he can start, but at the same time he can also come off the bench and get that experience first. I think it would be actually smart that he goes back to Kentucky, gets that extra season in development, and then comes out and he could be a surefire first pick. But I say the reason he's projected first overall is his shooting ability and his defense, is which or is what the NBA likes nowadays. So I say that's a big part of it. And then he's made some clutch shots. So it's showing that he's got the clutch factor, but I'd like to see him return. And then to touch back up on the Tennessee game, they had struggled with Tennessee, so getting that win was clutch and being like, okay, we're going to continue our momentum into the tourney and everything. And it was a hard-fought game. I think, one dude from Tennessee had like 37 or something?
He had like 40, didn't he?
Yeah,
40.
Yeah, so
40.
it's crazy. So they battled that, and that's the kind of wins that help you in the tourney. Because if it comes down to the wire, you can pull those wins out. So, yeah, it's a great momentum swing and to build off of before the tourney, and I think they'll actually benefit from it.
Mm-hmm. So we'll go ahead, since we're talking about basketball, SEC tournament predictions. It started yesterday. Arkansas beat Vandy. Georgia beat Missouri. Today, I think Florida plays somebody. Texas A&M and Ole Miss play today.
That's who
Kentucky's tomorrow.
Play, right?
Yeah, Kentucky plays the winner of A&M and Ole Miss tomorrow at 7. So let's just go by predictions. Who do you think is in the championship game, and who do you think wins in the SEC tournament? Austin, we'll go with you first.
I'm gonna say Kentucky, and it's a toss-up on the next team.
Tennessee would play Auburn in the semifinals, and Kentucky would play Alabama if they both win.
So I mean, you're potentially looking at Tennessee and Kentucky again.
That'd be pretty good.
That'd be interesting. See winner out of best out of 3. So I think Kentucky can honestly just beat them all, though. So I think Kentucky wins the championship for that, and then moves on to the tourney with the higher seed. You don't want the number 1 seed at all going into the tourney, so I think they're clear of that. But we'll have to wait and see. I got Kentucky winning it.
Nothing.
I'm gonna say Auburn will upset Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay, so you say that in the semifinals? So
Yeah,
who's
in the semi.
championship? And who wins?
I'd like to see Kentucky and Auburn, honestly. So, I mean, if it were Kentucky and Auburn, I'd take Kentucky, obviously, but I think Auburn will make a run for it. They're not projected to, obviously, but
yeah,
give me them over Tennessee.
I actually agree with Muffin. I think Auburn upsets Tennessee in the semifinals, so I think it's Kentucky and Auburn in the SEC championship. And I think I'm going to go with my gut. I don't want to say it, but I think Auburn beats Kentucky in the championship game.
No.
I think that we've already beat Auburn one time, and I think Auburn's good, and I think that they'll come out on championship Sunday, and I think they'll beat Kentucky. But I still think, really, in terms of the seeding for the NCAA tournament, if you make the championship game, that's all that matters. If you lose the SEC championship game, since it's on Sunday, the same day as Selection Sunday, the committee isn't going to punish you for that. So really, even if they lost that game, the Auburn in the championship, they wouldn't be punished a seed line for it, really. So, but I think it is important for Kentucky to make the championship game. That way we can possibly sneak up to a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. So there's our SEC tournament predictions.
Should be interesting to watch. It's always
it'll be
exciting
fun
to
to
watch
watch.
the tourney and all these upsets that happen. So I'm really excited for it.
Austin, you gonna hit us with the 20-leg
You know,
parlay?
I might.
SEC teams?
No,
$1 win 10,000.
honestly,
Yeah, this guy every night at work, he puts down these
this
20-leg
guy-
parlays.
It was 6 legs last night, buddy.
He puts $1 on them, and it's, what, 89,000 one night? You put $1.
I mean, if that hits, I look like a genius. Okay, if it doesn't, I'm not losing a lot of money. So they're just hating, you know. They don't want to see a man up. So. No, I honestly, I don't think I'm going to bet on the tourney. I might bet on like individual players, but the tourney is too risky with all the upsets that can happen. So
I want to get away from sports for a second. Miami beaches close. So as right now, you know, college is on spring break. A lot of colleges are, and Miami beaches are being closed for spring break. I guess because it's too dangerous with all the people from college going down there and spring breaking and everything. Did they say exactly why?
I think it was more of the line they's destroying the beaches. I think Austin
yeah.
was saying that they're kind of messing them up and stuff. But then again, if you don't have all them people there, all them businesses around the beaches are going to be closed, all the hotel rooms. And so I mean, it's a beach. You know what you're getting into if you live down there. You kind of know that there's going to be tourism. So I think that's on you. I mean, you should know better. People's going to be visiting.
Yeah, but the thing about Miami is they're like the party capital of Miami. Or Florida. And when you're coming down there and you're just leaving trash and there's, heavy drug usage and alcohol usage, it's causing problems and this and that. And it's not like if they do shut it down, they can't go to a different part of Florida. I'm pretty sure everybody else is all right with it for now. But yeah, you lose profit, but at the same time, you keep your beaches good. You keep your own people happy, and that's the thing that matters. But I don't know what to think about it, honestly.
They're going, Fort Lauderdale is pretty close to Miami, and I seen something
the big hangout this year is Fort Lauderdale.
I seen something the other day. We were on social media or TikTok or something. It was like, if your girlfriend's going to Fort Lauderdale for spring break, might as well just break up with her. She's gonna cheat on you or something like that.
It used to be Miami. This year it's Fort Lauderdale.
So that was the big thing about this spring break, apparently. So obviously,
it's not just Miami either. That's the whole. Florida's wanting to do that with all the beaches. I think that's not just Miami, but
yeah. Obviously, none of us are cool enough to go down there. We're sitting by a creek in Somerset, Kentucky. So,
well, I chose not to.
So I just actually talked about TikTok. What about TikTok potentially getting banned? Apparently, there was a bill in Congress or something like that, and it got passed. Was that a monkey? Is that a bunch of monkeys?
Nah.
Where'd you bring
that? Lions or something.
You said your honey hole.
We're in the forest, actually. We're in the Amazon rainforest.
Joe Exotic's house is over there.
But back to what I was saying about TikTok. So, apparently the government passed a bill or something to ban TikTok here in 6 months if they don't sell their rights from the Chinese government or something like that.
Yeah, they still have to vote on it, though.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. It was passed to go to vote.
Oh.
So, we'll have to wait and see on that.
So TikTok could be up here in 6 months. But we don't ever post. Well, I don't post anything on TikTok. We have a TikTok for our for our podcast account that we post on, but I just watch videos on there from time to time. But what do y'all think about that?
I mean, I don't like that it's not American owned. I will agree with that. So I feel like if the Chinese own it, they can do what they want with it. And I mean, all the Americans using it, there's all kinds of hacking in it and stuff. So I think that banning it would be nice, but then again, a lot of people's gotten famous off of TikTok, and a lot of people make revenue off of TikTok. So part of me says go ahead and ban it, and part of me says just keep it around. I mean, I don't know what. I guess we'd have to go back to Vine. I'm not sure, because I don't even remember anything like TikTok before this besides Vine, and that's the closest thing to it. So I could swing either way. However it goes, I'm not too big on TikTok regardless. So either way it goes, it's not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, like, of course, everything like this is going to have its pros and cons. I see, like, the security threat it presents, but I also see, like, people just getting on it and having fun and this and that and yada yada. And, of course, when we want to start up a podcast and, we got reels on there, and I say we get famous, about time for it to shut down.
Well, we get decent views on TikTok, actually.
Yeah, real
surprisingly. We get decent views on TikTok.
But jokes aside, honestly, I say someone, if it gets voted on banning it, I say someone from the U.S. will buy it, and probably Elon Musk. It seems like he's buying everything. He's probably going to buy these shoes after I'm done wearing them. but I could see it going either way. It's like it really won't affect me except for the podcast. So it's like it's whatever.
Tyler's on there doing dances. Don't let him lie.
Yeah, I post a bunch of dances on there. that's
he posted that video of him without a shirt saying, "Let's go!" after Kentucky won that one. We mentioned it on the last podcast, but you can go on TikTok and see it.
Yeah. I'd probably get killed if I post something like that. So, this is history with Tyler again. Another lesson right here. What is one thing that pigs physically cannot do? That they can't. No
Roll
matter
in the
how hard
mud
they try.
unhappy.
But no matter how hard they try, they cannot possibly do this.
Roll in the poop unhappy. I don't know.
Y'all got any guesses?
I fly.
No,
They can't fly.
So they can't look up into the sky. So with their short necks, I'll give that.
What happens if they roll over though?
Yeah, what if what if someone places them on their back and they're just like this?
If you have a pig, let's test this out.
technically,
We'll bring you on the podcast.
I
if
get
you
what
have
they're
a
saying
pig.
if they're on legs and they can't look up, but what if you lay them on their back? Or what if they roll around?
okay, let's be real. Is it the short neck or is it the fact that they're just fat?
Both. Well, I'm saying, like, if you have a pig, we'll bring it to the podcast next week, and we'll test it out. We'll see if they can look up into the sky or roll them over, and
On the next episode, we'll actually be in the zoo or a farm, whichever.
I don't see how it's possible that they can't look up in the air. I find it, especially if their eyes are in the front. Maybe if you roll them over, they can't. But if you hold them like this,
I got a question though. We got to settle this. Where do you get these studies from?
where do you find these questions?
This
at?
brain is just full of useless
Pigs
knowledge.
can't look. Well, what was it?
Why do we cry last
Why
week?
do we cry? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was kind of crazy. He doesn't show you on that. What do you just go to Google and search stuff?
That was just all in my brain.
Okay, buddy. I so believe you.
But yeah, so now you know what pigs physically can't do.
Allegedly.
There we go.
Allegedly.
Something I never knew I needed.
I'd like to test it out myself.
Yeah, so bring a pig, please. So UFC 299 was last week. Austin, you want to talk a little bit about that? I actually watched a little bit of those fights.
That was the greatest card I've ever watched. Honestly, every fight was entertaining. Like, you had fights that one person was winning, like Burns was winning, and then he gets knocked out, and it comes out his opponent had a broken arm in that match, and still knocked him out. O'Malley just dominated Vera, hit him with a vicious knee, and Vera just somehow stayed in it and never got knocked down, which was crazy. But O'Malley was just destructive. Yeah, every fight, man, it was all entertaining, and it was a lower card for 300. Like 299 was stacked, but 300 was even more stacked. So it's going to be hard for 300 to live up to the hype of 299, just based off the outcomes. Like Poirier, he was giving it his all. There's a few times he'd go for a guillotine, and it just wasn't working. And then there's a few times he got put in positions where he could get submitted, and he just got out of it. And the final round he was in, he comes down, guy gets him pinned against a cage, and he acts like he's going for a guillotine. And the dude goes to counter it, and he gets out of it. He turns him around, and he just two-pieces him. It's just knocks him out. And he said he's still going to fight. He's not going to retire, so that's good. But yeah, 300's got a lot to live up to.
Tyler, you want to give us what happened with you on UFC? Tyler actually put some bets down.
Well, I had some of my free money left from last week. I'm out of them now. But I bet like 3 guys to win. One of them won, which I was excited about. This is like $10 to win 80 or something like that. Second one, the guy, I forgot who it was. I think it might have been Burns. He was up with like a minute to go. All he had to do was just stay alive. Dude gets knocked out with a minute to go. I was so mad. So I just ruined my $80. So, and then the third one didn't even matter because the other one lost. If he would have just stayed alive for a minute longer, not get knocked out, just stay breathing, and he would have won me $80. But
See,
that's why I watched it.
You should have came to me because I had Burns losing that fight, and I almost lost money on that one because his opponent I picked, but he ended up winning, and with the broken left arm, which is crazy. But that's the thing about bets, man. The thing about bets.
That's why I don't bet my actual money. I'd be super upset then. Muffin, did you watch those?
I watched a few of them. I didn't bet though. I should have bet though, but I thought it was a really good fight. I like Sean O'Malley. I still don't think he's. I know I'm gonna get hate for this, but I still don't think he's that good. He's all right. he's not really beat nobody that's been like,
The
oh, that's
audacity
crazy.
of this guy.
He's not beat nobody. I'm like, yeah, that's. I mean,
Yeah, he beat Peter Yan.
that's about it though.
He beat Aljamain Sterling. Like, he didn't beat. Like,
He's not beating no big names. Though, is what I'm trying to
not
say.
big names coming up, but starting at Peter Yan. Peter Yan's a pretty well-known name around the UFC community, and so is Aljamain Sterling. But Sterling's been losing, and now Vera had beat him previously, but O'Malley hurt his left. I want to say his left ankle. I could be wrong about that. And he was barely mobile, and Vera just ended up just knocking him out. Well, not knocking him out. He was still fighting, in my opinion, so it should have been TKO. But Vera talked about how he was going to do it again, and O'Malley talked about, oh, yeah, I was hurt, so I was wounded, so now you're going to get something else. I was like, yeah, he's going to do that. But I'm surprised he didn't knock him out because he had some vicious blows. And honestly, O'Malley was saved by the final bell. Like 10 seconds ago, Vera lands a vicious liver shot, and it just puts Malley over. And then he goes for a flying knee, and Malley just barely ducks out of it. So he just barely missed it after dominating the whole fight. And yeah, I think O'Malley's hyped pretty well, though.
On topic of fighting, who you got winning, Jake Paul or Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
No, honestly,
I think it's a big old joke.
It goes based on the rules. Like, are we getting a legit fight? Somewhere said they were going to have, like, headgear. I read that today. So it's like...
Well, it's Mike Tyson. He's like 60-something years old.
Yeah, I get it, but at the same time, you got to protect Jake Paul. But it's like, is it one of them rigged fights where Jake Paul just absolutely destroys you for a bigger purse?
I guarantee it.
So we'll have to wait and see, but if it was straight up, I'm going with Mike all the time. I'm not doubting Mike.
Yeah. Moving on. So, or do you want to do the predictions?
Do what?
Predictions with the Jake Paul. You want to do yours?
Oh no,
Okay.
I think Mike Tyson would win if it's not rigged, but
yeah,
like Austin
I
said.
agree. So we noticed that Austin's got the shirt on here, the Triple Crown Conversations
Stand up.
shirt.
Show him.
Show him
Give him
the
a
front,
spin
front,
around.
back.
We got a logo here. We got our @ down here, and then we got another logo on the back. Now this is the first shirt that we've made, so obviously it's going to improve over time, and we're going to come up with some ideas to add to it. But yeah, I like it.
Let us know if you want a shirt. Don't know the price yet, but we'll.
I think we got like 2 available left.
Yeah, we
left.
actually do have 2 left. So let us know.
But we could probably get more made, so
Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, either comment down in the comment section or DM us on Instagram or something along those lines. Our Instagram is.
We're gonna have to take some model pictures of Austin.
Yeah, we're gonna take
Show
some
off
pictures.
our shirt.
Now what are we doing? We didn't talk about this.
But yeah, our Instagram is Trip Crown Pod. So if you want to follow us on there, and what's the TikTok, Muffin?
I can't remember the
Okay.
exact one. It's like Triple Crown Pod or something.
So
Yeah.
what's this one?
Triple Crown Convos on YouTube.
That's a,
But
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, comment something on there. DM us if you want a shirt, or comment in the comment section. We got one more topic left before we finish things up. So Louisville fired Kenny Payne yesterday, and earlier in the season, back in December, it came out that he was going to get fired back in the middle of the season. Well, apparently that was never true, and the guy who actually started that rumor was his assistant coach, Nolan Smith. So my question to you all, would you even hire this guy again if you're a program? Would you even hire Nolan Smith again if he was accused of sabotaging his former head coach so he could get the head coaching job? Like that, like he just ruined his career pretty much.
I wouldn't hire him just for the fact that, I mean, letting stuff out that shouldn't be out anyway, that's not got nothing to do with him. I mean, if the story's true, then again, I mean, it seems like you'd want to tell somebody that this is going on, but if it's just to make it up just so he can get the job, no, I wouldn't hire him like that.
I don't think you could trust him. Plus, you sucked. I mean,
Yeah, they were awful.
They did
Yeah.
suck too.
like, you don't think of Louisville like that. You think of them, Kentucky goes in there, they have a competitive ball game, And then Kentucky, they went in there and destroyed them this season.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't trust a guy, and the head coach sucks too. So you obviously can't pick him up. But yeah, I don't think you can really trust either one to come in there and run your program at this rate, because even if the rumors are true, you can't trust him and you can't put that image on your program. And then even if they're not, you don't know. So you can't trust Nolan Smith because he's holding information and he's basically trying to blackmail you. So yeah, I don't think you can ever trust these two to lead your program.
Well, Kenny Payne was an assistant at Kentucky under Calipari there until 2017, I believe. He went to become the assistant for the Knicks, and then after he was the assistant for the Knicks for a few years, he went and became Louisville head coach. This is only his second year.
Didn't the
and he
Knicks
got
suck
fired.
then too?
Probably, yeah. But he was a good assistant coach, really good assistant coach at Kentucky, but he just never worked out as a head coach at Louisville. So they fired him yesterday, and I just thought that story was pretty interesting to see. So I don't know about Nolan Smith ever getting a job again. So if y'all don't have anything else, we'll wrap this thing up. I don't know how many minutes we're at right now, but
It's great weather.
yeah, it was great. Feels great outside. 75 degrees. We were fishing earlier. Didn't catch anything, like always.
We got our license.
Tyler got his first cast. He got hung up.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. You can't
I
put
did
Tyler
too.
down when yours was in the tree.
Mine
bro.
was in the tree first
He's in
cast.
this tree, or was it this one?
It's one of
It's
these
one of
trees
these
back
two.
here.
But he goes, I got it caught. I was like,
we
you
got
just
it out,
casted
though.
it, bro. It's like, y'all's the country boys. I'm from the city. I can do better. But yeah, we're gonna enjoy this today.
Yeah, it's a great day outside. Hopefully we get more weather like this more often. But we'll go ahead and wrap things up. Like I said, follow us on Instagram at Trip Crown Pod. On TikTok, just search up Triple Crown Conversations. It'll probably pop up. If nothing else, we will do another episode next week, and we'll see y'all next time.
See ya.
Peace.